Welcome to section number 7, aggregate functions. So in this section, you can, till this section you are working with books data, and it's important that we are working with one data set of little bit so that you can get familiar with it. And so in this section we are going to learn a lot but different ways of performing the analysis on the data. So the things like finding averages or something, a bunch of data together, grouping things by authors, and calculating the average quantities or page numbers per author. See, if you have only few number of authors, such as 10 authors or 10 books, the operations can be easy. However, if you have more than 10,000 books, and if you want, and it's really hard to know if you are doing it right or wrong. And how could you know that it is right or wrong? If you are working with 10 or very less number of page counts, it's fine. We know our data at this point when it is less in numbers. So we are going to the end of this course, and along way, we will be moving into some complex stuffs after this particular session. I will have a discussion on the explanation of different aggregate functions based on the database of the same books table which we have. So let's move on to the session. Okay, the next thing about the count. Suppose if we want to know how many books are in the database or how many authors are there in the list, and if you want to know how many pages a particular book have. In this case, we will use the function count star. So the count function, we will use it to obtain the count, the number for the books or any details. So we are in the books table, and let me show you this table which we are working with. Okay, this is the books table which we are working with, and if we want to know the count of the book, we will use select count star from books. This is in this table we have 22 books, books we have, and if we want to know the number of author name, select count of author first name from books. Select count of author first name it will be like this, author. Okay, so it's 22. But what if we have any duplicate values of, if we have the authors has been repeated, the same author would be written more than one books. So in that case, what is the condition we will use? That is, if we want to know the distinct value, we will use the command here. distinct value of the author name. So if in case if anything repeated, it will be taken off, and we will give the only the distinct value. And if you want to know the last name, here it is. And if we want to consider the author last name and author first name together, we will add this. Here it is. So we have 12 distinct values for the author names. So if you want to know the count of books, where if you want to know if you want to know the title with the letter, suppose this is the book, let me show it to you. Okay, this is the books table, and if you want to know the number of books which is having the word king in it, yes, I don't think we don't have, okay, or else we will have the word as the, okay, it is the the, the, we have different, so many number of counts. So we will give select count of, select the count, give the count of from books where title like even if it is anything which includes the. Control enter. Select count star from books where title like here. So we have in the books we have 7 which contains the word the. So that's all about the count. The simplest form of syntax is select count star from books. And now here it is. So if you want to identify the author's first name, select count of author first name from books. So if it is this is not actually the correct information, so we will have the distinct author first names. So we have to use the command distinct in order to find the unique author name. So on the next topic, we will have a discussion about group by. Something called group by, and group is going to be essential to everything we do it in the rest of the section. It's the different than the things that we have seen so far, and in fact this is it's not just a single little function that we can throw in there like concat or upper where we get, and rather than we have to use it alongside with some other function. So it's going to take a bit to explain, so hang in there and just know that we are going to get there. There is a payoff, and it is very useful. So it's a kind of the core of aggregating our data. It's how we can do things eventually, like average or sum or find the minimum or the maximum and so on. So it's actually pretty self-explanatory. The named group by, we can say things like take all of our books and group them by the year, or group them by the released year, or group them by the author's first name or last name. And even if it is something like if we consider some other data like the sales data, if we can group them by the things sold in particular year, or we will have what is the profit for that particular one particular product which we are selling. So in these all cases we use the function group by. So let's start with a small example again. Let me open up the workbench for you. Okay, and if let me show you, like if we want, if I'm giving, let me give you this. Okay, so author last name, this is the author, the table which shows title and author last name. So if we are select title, if we are let me show you how we are using the group by. Select title, author last name from books, which should be with this group by author name. Okay, this will be more explanatory when I use this will not give any meaning, so this will be more explanatory when I gives the count, when we use the group by along with count. Like this is select author last name count star from books group by the author last name. You can see for this particular Lahiri, the author last name, we have 2, Gaiman we have 3. Like this will gives the, if we have any repetitions, it will show you. We have 3 Eggers, we have 3 Chabon, we have 1 Chabon, 1 Smith and 2 Carver. This is how we use group by along with count star. If we want to find out the books which has been released on how many books has been released on a particular year, so in that case what we will do is we will group by released year. You can see on 2003 around 2 books has been released, and 2016 1, 2001 4. So this is how we will use the option group by here, and we can use different other things here. Like if you want to get the number of the number of books written by a particular author, we can also use this group by here along with the count star. And we have to use it with count star. Here we can see this particular author has written 2, and if you want to author last name, like if you want to rename it as select as, we will use this and we will show you how we use concat. Like concat in released year, we had the number of books has been released, and as year books group by released year. This is these are the examples of group by, and so the group by summarizes or aggregates the identical data into single rows. And on the next topics we will learn about minimum. We are going to continue with the functions like minimum and maximum, and then the sum function and average function. So they are minimum and maximum, and they sounds like what they are within the name. So we can use them and they're on their own, or we can also combine with them group by to get further insights. So we are going to see on both sides like how to use the minimum and maximum alone, and how we are going to use minimum and maximum along with group by. we can do things like find the minimum release year in our entire table. So you know what was the first year of any book was released, and to do that, just looks like that select minimum release year within in the parentheses from books. So just like we did with the count, there you could count the number of books. If you wanted, you can just use minimum or its own. And we can I will show you with an example about how to use the minimum and maximum functions. Also we have and also let me show you with an example. Okay, suppose if you want to know suppose if you want to know the minimum released, which is the books, which book has been released first, what is the minimum released year. So if we click, the minimum released year is 1945 in the table. So if we, and also if you want to know the minimum number of pages, and if you want to select max, just change into max. Okay, so the last released year is 2017 from the table, and if it is pages, okay, if it is pages, one minimum pages is 176, and the maximum pages is 634. So this is how we use the minimum and maximum pages. Like if you want to know the maximum, the title of the books also, here we will use like select, we will also give the title of the book which 634 pages. So like also there is some problem in using this maximum functions when there is a common title from books. So if you want to find the title, and they will find the title of the longest book or any other information with maximum pages, I will give you a different problem. Like what is, like let me show you. And so we will include here, it is select star from pages books, where pages is equal to select minimum of pages from books. So we want to use this command to avoid some errors. So we will use where and also minimum function in order to get the accurate data. And select star from books, I will show you whether. And also this can be written in a different form by using the command order by and ascend limit. You see this, it will give you the same information. Okay, that's all we can use with minimum and maximum. And if you can use the minimum and maximum along with group by. I will show you. Okay, if you want to know the the maximum number of pages for a particular author name, then we will use select author first name and author last name, whose maximum pages from books, which has to be grouped by author last name and author first name. Okay, here we will have the author, the author, which the author name which is having the, if we have, or if you want to consider the author last name and first name, it will gives you the number of pages, the maximum number of pages written by the particular author. So here we have grouped by the author last name and author first name. So I will give another example to find out the author for the longest book of the author, where we have to mention like author's first name, author's first name, author's last name, as the longest book is that particular books, we have to mention this. So what is the code we will use for it? And for that I will show you, we will be using the concat select concat author first name, and we can give a space author L name as author, maximum of pages, as longest book. Now from books, now we have to group by author first name and author last name. Do you see? This is the if we want to considering the author first name and last name, we are finding the longest book for this particular author. That's the reason we have used the maximum of pages. So we have used concat and as well as maximum pages and group by here to get this result. And now let's move on to the second function, that is sum function. And if we want to know if this is a simple function we can use, I will show it for you. Oh, here it is, the old one. Okay, if we want to get the number of pages, the total number of pages from books, this is the total number of pages for this particular table. It doesn't matter who the author is, what the book is, it will collect the sum of all the pages. So if we want to get the sum of released year of the book, we can calculate only the numbers. So I am having the released year, this is the sum of released year. And if you want to get the sum of pages for different author name for different authors, suppose if we are selecting, so this is the table, let me show you the table for you. Okay, okay, where is the table? And if here is the table, and if you want to find out the Neil Gaiman, if you want the number of pages written by Gaiman including all the books, like he has written Norse mythology and American gods, if we want to get the sum of all the books, we will use group by as well as the sum pages together. So in this case we will use the command we are considering. Okay, this is the thing we are typing in. Select author first name and author last name, and we need the sum of pages from books, but we have to group by with author last name and first name. This will gives you the author first name, considering this has been grouped by using author first name and last name, and also it gave the sum of pages of each author. Suppose if you want to get the sum of released years, and that is not required actually, anyway I am giving it as an example here. If we can give released year, and for each particular author this is the sum of released year. This is how we use the sum function. So if you want more example, you can refer to the website SQL tutorial database, so that you will get more examples to work out. And the average function, now let's move into the average function. As you might have guessed, because I have said this section, all the functions will sound like what its name is. So it's simple. Let me explain you. It does is the average data. So it will sum things together and then divide them based of how many things you have added together. So it's pretty useful if you are trying to do things like find that, I don't know, like if you want to find the average sales for something, or if you want to know the average pages written by one particular user, like if you're considering the books data. So maybe you never averages things, but I will something like I have done many averages while doing my finding the average scores while I was in school. So let's get back to this. There are a lot of uses for averages, so I will give you the detail of average function with an example. So if you want to get the average of pages from books, let me open it for you. The simple function is select average of pages from books. So the average of pages is 348.8182, and if you want to find the average of pages, like if we want to group it by the released year, for one particular year, how many how many pages has been written for the particular year. If you can use group by released year at the end of the from books, group by what happened, okay, released year. Okay, so this is the average of books. We want to give average pages. We can give released year here. Okay, so for this particular year, this number of pages have been written. This is how we can use the average and the group by together. If you want to know the stock quantity with in particular released year, we use average of stock quantity in this particular released year. So you can use group by like this, and these are the functions, the main functions, the aggregate functions we will work on with. And you can have more examples, so don't worry about if you have any big numbers of data. You can use these aggregate functions that we have learned, like count, then distinct count, group by, average, minimum, maximum, and sum functions. That's all in today's video, and if you have any doubts, please leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.